Welcome back to the NutriPsych podcast. I'm your host and my name is Helen. I'm a nutrition consultant and I specialize in helping women stop yo-yo dieting, emotional eating, nighttime eating, and binge eating so that they can lose weight and keep it off for good without counting calories or cutting out foods. You've probably heard me talk about the importance of having both physically and mentally nourishing foods. But in this episode, I want to dive deeper into this concept of physically and mentally nourishing foods. The diet industry often tells you what you should eat, how much to eat, to cut out this food or that food, count calories, to go low carb, and all that leads to overeating, because having strict rules just leads to black and white thinking, which leads people to say, "Screw it, I'll start over again tomorrow." The same still applies if you are just judging food as good or bad, or if you are trying to diet, whether you succeed or not. Before we begin, I want you to know that this concept of physically and mentally nourishing food is not black and white. Food falls across a spectrum. Some food may provide more of a certain mineral, while another contains more of another, and some food are more fun to eat. And we all have different food preferences. The idea of nourishment is based on how the food makes you feel ultimately. And honestly, it's an experiment and involves some exploring of what works for you and your body. So it's going to take some trial and error. So I want you to take some pressure off of yourself of feeling the need to get it perfect. There's no right or wrong way. There's certainly no such thing as perfection. It's a spectrum and it can change over time, if not from day to day. So let's begin with physically nourishing foods. There are a few things to consider. The energy and macronutrient composition, like how much carbohydrates, fats, and proteins does the food provide. Different macronutrients have different functions in the body. Carbs provide quicker energy. Protein helps repair, maintain, and build your muscles and is great for satiety. And dietary fat can help you absorb certain nutrients better. These are just some examples. They all have their functions and roles, and it's important to strike a balance and not cut out entire food groups. Other than the energy and macronutrient profile, micronutrients, meaning vitamins and minerals, are also important for the day-to-day functioning of the body. We've all heard of the potato versus sweet potato debate, like how potatoes contain more calories, but sweet potatoes contain more sugar. Sweet potatoes have more vitamin A and C, but regular potatoes have more folic acid and vitamins B1 and B3. Frankly, there's no winner. It all depends on balance. Neither is bad and you shouldn't cut out either of them out of your diet. Another thing to consider when thinking about physical nourishment, and this is a bit more personal, that's how the food affects you physically. Like, does the food cause digestive issues like bloating, or does it cause low energy? The idea of nourishment is actually very personal and can vary from day to day, from meal to meal. What feels good to eat right now and fulfills what your brain and body needs. Food can be physically nourishing or mentally nourishing, but probably up until now, all the diets you've been on have just focused on the physical nourishment. How many calories are in this? Is this enough macros? Is this going to lead to weight loss? Is this good or is this bad? But these diets totally ignore the mental nourishment piece, whether your cravings are satisfied. Cutting out your favorite foods, ignoring how these foods affect your mood, your energy. I want you to feel satisfied. Unfortunately, being physically full doesn't always translate to feeling satisfied. Satisfied is both a physical and mental feeling. Feeling full is just physical. The more you meet your body and mind's needs, the more you feel satisfied, the less likely you're going to have cravings and urges to eat. And the more nutritional variety that you have, the fewer cravings you will have. So that's when the mental nourishment piece comes into the puzzle. What food do you enjoy eating and give you happiness? There's nothing wrong with enjoying food. Food gives us pleasure and connects us with other people. It's an integral part of many cultures. It's meant to be enjoyed. It only becomes a problem if food is your only way of coping when you are feeling stressed, tired, or lonely. When you think of nourishing your body both mentally and physically, try to think of your body as having multiple batteries that need to be charged, and the vitamins and minerals are the battery fuel. Some foods have more of a certain fuel, and some have less, and you might have remaining fuel from the previous days. The question here is how efficient this process is. If you keep overeating or binge eating on chocolate, crisps, biscuits, or whatever you overeat on, you sure can still fuel these batteries with the fuel, but the process just isn't very efficient, and you need to eat very large quantities to meet your body's nutritional needs. Part of getting out of the stress response is meeting your body's needs, and when you attempt to fuel these batteries with only mentally nourishing foods, which are likely foods that do not fuel the other necessary batteries, your appetite will increase because when you fuel these batteries, these foods aren't very efficient in doing the job, so you need a lot more in order to fuel the other batteries as well. They are better at filling the emotional nourishment batteries. Some foods are efficient in filling the energy batteries, and different vitamins and mineral batteries, and emotional satisfaction batteries, or other macronutrient batteries. So that's why it's important to have a variety of different foods to fill these batteries to meet your body and mind's needs. Similarly, you might be able to fill these vitamin and mineral batteries with low-calorie fruit and vegetables, but these won't fill the mental nourishment part as much. That's why you need both physically and mentally nourishing food to fill your batteries efficiently. And because your body's needs are met, your body stops begging for more food endlessly for the right fuel to fill these batteries. So you experience fewer cravings. Remember I said feeling satisfied is the result of both physical and mental nourishment, satisfying the needs and desires of both your mind and body? However, this doesn't mean you should count calories, macros, or even vitamins and minerals, because there are some days that your body needs fewer calories and some days when your body needs more. There are some days when your body needs more carbs and less protein, or more protein and fewer carbs. Diets teach you not to trust your body and the needs of your body, but instead follow a set of rigid rules, which then throws your body out of whack and creates cravings, emotional eating, or even binging. Once you start adding in nourishing meals, choosing a variety of foods without restricting, you are getting everything you need naturally over time, and your cravings and binge urges go way down. So my action task for you today is to start observing how your body reacts to different foods, how your hunger and cravings change throughout the day, what foods make you feel energized and feel good. Start your experimentation process and see how you respond to different foods. Based on all this information, you can then start thinking about your food choices from a eat more and eat less perspective. Shift your mindset from what you should take out to what you can add into your diet. This episode is actually extracted and repurposed from one of the lessons we have in the Stop Binge Eating Program. If you are looking for a more step-by-step process to nourish your body both mentally and physically, so that you can lose weight without depriving yourself or sticking to strict diet rules, make sure you check out the Stop Binge Eating Program at helenwong.co.uk/SBEP. In the Stop Binge Eating Program, one of the first aspects that we address is to get you to work with your body again and not against it, through physical and mental nourishment. You get to understand how your body responds to different foods and other overeating triggers, and therefore come up with a strategy to make your weight loss journey easier. And more excitingly, you learn how to have fun foods, aka binge food or trigger foods, without losing control and still lose weight while still enjoying pizzas, takeaways, chocolate, and sweets. Just know that weight loss doesn't have to involve deprivation and restriction. In fact, very often, deprivation and restriction just lead people to gain back everything plus even more. So that's it from me for today. I hope this episode has given you some inspiration to explore a wider variety of foods and feel more empowered to experiment. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Dive into the show notes for this episode at helenwang.co.uk/nutrition resources. If you've enjoyed this episode of the NutriPsych podcast, I invite you to check out the Stop Binge Eating Program, which gives you access to a proven step-by-step roadmap with key strategies and skills that guide you from struggling with yo-yo dieting, emotional eating, and binge eating to achieving permanent weight loss. Check out the Stop Binge Eating Program at helenwang.co.uk/SBEP.